What's going on, everybody? This is Alex KGB. Today we're gonna have a little different video. This video is just purely my opinion on how I think Bethesda could improve the end game and overall make the experience of playing Fallout late game just virtually insanely good. So I had a talk with one of my subscribers regarding, how boring the end game right now, and basically all you do is just grind all day long. So we were talking about how it would be nice to have NPCs enter the world, and let's say we're gonna have factions coming soon, right? So we'll have 4 different factions in the game that one can join, like officially, you're joining a faction, you can't join another one unless you leave your faction that you're currently in. For example, they're gonna be Raiders faction that's going to be over here, right? With some of the NPCs, they're going to be Brotherhood faction with Fort Defiance and Spruce Knob and some other Brotherhood locations. Going to be Free States with Harper's Ferry, and particularly in this area. And there's going to be Responders faction. So all those factions going to have some sort of NPCs and their own bases that you can buy supplies from. You can get special items just that belong to that particular faction. You can again join and do other things that are going to be related to factions, get faction related quests like attack this base or attack this base. And you can also gain control over some areas as a faction. For example, let's take a look at Charleston, right? You can actually claim Charleston to be Raiders faction or belonging to Raiders, and that will provide you materials, that will provide you additional quests, that will provide you legendaries, things like that. And they're gonna be NPCs that are gonna come from the vaults, and they're gonna be part of those cities. They will give you quests, pretty much will ask you to find someone, and pretty much like for Fallout 4 quests, there might be some story behind several NPCs, but the major thing is like you actually control the most cities from a faction. Will give you like 4 stars legendaries, for example. Or if you go and destroy one of the bases of enemy faction, you're gonna have some additional rewards like ultimate weapons that you can't actually grind. And the idea behind this, when you have different factions claiming different locations on the map, people will constantly fight for those locations. They will try to take them over. So obviously Enclave gonna have the White Spring bunker, and then there would be a quest to nuke, let's say, Fort Defiance, and nuke the Brotherhood of Steel and then wipe them out. And the Brotherhood of Steel would have to prevent that nuke or hide from the nuke in the fort, escape the nuclear, and then do a revenge hit on them. So that's gonna bring so many quests in, and you could actually nuke, for example, cities. Let's say Enclave took over Charleston, you start having like Enclave related buildings, flyers, turrets over there. It's pretty much like a base that provides your faction with resources, weapons. You will have NPCs there or not. I mean, that's Enclave, they're probably gonna wipe everyone else except their own people. But then as Raiders, you want to take this over, you might nuke it. So when you nuke it, you ultimately wipe out the control of the city. Let's say it becomes neutral, does not belong to the faction, and you have to reclaim it as Enclave or as Raiders. Or you can just run in, kill everyone, and claim it without the nuke. But nuking provides additional bonuses. Let's say it's part of the quest, or it's also gonna spawn legendary enemies and legendary loot, some unique enemies. I mean, I saw videos talking about, there are not a lot location that you could nuke, and the map should have more locations where you drop a nuke and it will spawn like ultimate bosses. I absolutely agree with that. Let's say you can nuke Spruce Knob Lake and have like ultimate Behemoth, or I don't know, 4-star Deathclaw or something else. But more unique bosses is needed. But on top of that, by nuking cities, let's say like Charleston, that belong to other faction, you wipe out their persistence there. If there's no one to defend it, you take it over. Plus, you get additional bosses of that area. So I mean, there's so many possibilities that can be done to make the end game more interesting, more of a like overall map control by different faction. With NPCs, I strongly think that NPCs should be re-added in the game, that leave the vaults and they have stories that you can talk to them and follow the stories, help with the quests. And I think that it's gonna be a lot better for everyone if you can actually shape the map, the control of the map, shape your faction, the resources from server to server. You can server hop. You don't like one that's say too much Brotherhood of Steel, or you're high level and you get on the map, there's not enough enclave, and you start claiming those cities. You can actually shape the map, help your pretty much your faction, and it's not going to be only about nuking this area. You can see right now what's happening, right? 3 nukes on top, 1 on top of other, just went through there, and people grinding all day long. But there is really nothing else. There's nothing else right now. So without adding additional extra content in terms of creating new stories and prolong or new locations to farm, you can actually reshape the dynamics of the game with factions, claiming different cities that gonna belong to that faction, adding NPCs, unique items and quests belonging to different factions, and it's just gonna be absolutely madness. It's gonna be insane. People would want to claim the whole map belonging to Enclave or Brotherhood of Steel or Raiders, and I think that would add so much to the game. Okay, let's give a quick look to Otoga Station. Looks like there's a lot of things happening right there. People selling stuff after the 3 nukes. Let's see if we can find any the 2-shot explosive being sold. Just because I see it and I know when that happens, people sell stuff and they don't look what they sell. So I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. But yeah, please add your ideas in the description below on how to improve the game, what can make it more interesting. And when I was talking to one of my subs about it, like how we can improve the game, what could be done, I just realized, you know, it would be so nice if there would be NPCs and some farmers and, you know, whatever, Brotherhood of Steel claimed city. You can just nuke them. Isn't that what Enclave all about? Just nuking places? Wouldn't it be so awesome to clear it out and then claim it for your own? I think that would add a lot to the game. Berserkers, machine gun. Okay, I'll get it.
Ready to initiate training.
3-star Vampires Fatman. Really? Critical shots do 50% damage. 50% damage resistance while aiming. Game brief health regenerations when you hit an enemy. Okay, that's interesting. Just let me know what you think about that idea, how we can improve the game, and I'm really hoping that Bethesda gonna see this idea, maybe in this video, maybe through Reddit, maybe someone will point them out that, you know, hey, there's an easy way in terms of not reshaping the map or adding new locations, how to actually add more interest within the current map. This was Alex KGB. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.